Ready? We are recording. All right, guys. I'm really, really excited tonight. So a lot of you probably know that I'm doing a monthly training that Josh hosts. And with that, we were able to work out a time for him to talk on our team call. So if you don't know, Josh Coates, he's a member of the John Maxwell team and the founder of Legacy Leadership. And he specializes in putting personal development and leadership into terms that us Beachbody coaches can understand and apply to our business, which is awesome. Everything he says, it's like he's reading my mind. Josh is mentoring 20 plus Beachbody Coaches 101, which is including 3 of the top 30 coaches from 2015. And like I said, he runs online training groups with over 70 in attendance each month. He speaks regularly on team calls and Super Saturdays. And his message will encourage you, it's going to inspire you, and it's going to challenge you to grow from the inside out and build the life and business you've always wanted. So with that, I will turn it over to Josh, and I'll just mute everybody, and we can do questions at the end.
Beautiful. Thank you, Brooke. I appreciate it. Did you get everyone muted?
Hold on one second. Let me just do it, but it might actually mute you.
Yeah, just mute everybody, and then I'll unmute myself.
Perfect. There we go.
Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me crash your team call tonight, Brooke, and hang out with your whole team. Hopefully some of you have at least heard of me before. If I'm doing my job, hopefully you've seen my Facebook ad, maybe at least my face and my name has popped up in your news feed a few hundred times if I'm doing my job right. But thank you for the amazing introduction. I don't know where you got all that information from, but I'm so happy to hang out with you guys tonight. Thank you for giving up time with your family, with your friends, with your pets, with your life, Netflix, everything, to hang out with me tonight. And I really hope that what I have to share with you tonight is something that's going to help you to move your business forward. Obviously, we're talking tonight about overcoming your fears and then how that pertains to recruiting. Because what I've personally found, I work with a lot of Beachbody coaches, lots and lots, and I've talked to lots and lots and lots of people. Now, I mentor 20 people, but over the last 10 months, I've probably worked one-on-one with more like 80 people total. So I've heard lots and lots and lots and lots of stories, and all of the people that I mentor one-on-one are people like Brooke who have teams of people. And so not only do I get to hear what they say, but I get to hear what all of their coaches say. So it's like Brooke said, I actually do read minds. That's something I do part-time for an extra income, as I actually read minds, but only if they're Beachbody coaches. Those are the only minds that I can read. And so tonight I want to dig in to how to overcome your fears, because I bet you every single person on this call, every single person watching the recording has some type of fear that they're dealing with. And that fear is holding you back from the next place you need to go in your business. And if I can teach you how to overcome that fear, guess what? You can go to a new level in your business, in your recruiting. If you are not recruiting consistently, I promise you there's a fear behind it. And I would put money on my table right now that there's some type of fear behind it. And at the end of the call, I promise I'll get to those fears and I will pinpoint the exact one that you have, because there's only 3 or 4. You think that your fear is unique and you are a unique person, but I promise you, everyone is struggling with the same fears. And it'll be nice probably to hear that you're not the only one struggling with that fear. Because sometimes when we see life on Instagram, or some of you, maybe you're not Instagram, you still see life on Facebook, and everyone is perfect and everyone is happy and everyone is smiling and everyone's getting new houses and new cars and everyone's advertising how they made $30,000 this week on their business. And it makes you feel like you're all alone in your struggles, because apparently everyone else is freaking killing it in this business and I'm the only one that's stuck. Well, that's not the case, I promise. Facebook and Instagram shows our pretty side, but it does not show our true side, okay? So what I want to talk to you about is what fear is, why fear is, how we overcome it. If you don't know what it is or why it is, I'm telling you it's going to mess with you for the rest of your life. And you're going to get tripped out. And even though I taught you how to overcome it, you're going to keep facing it over and over and over and over, and you're gonna think there's something wrong with you. And I'm here to tell you tonight, there's nothing wrong with you. We're all going through it. I woke up this morning and I was afraid of some things. Guess what? I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to be afraid of some more things. And if I keep progressing and learning and growing, I will always have a new fear to deal with. So if you're on this call or listening to the recording and you are dealing with a fear, I want to say to you, congratulations. That means you're learning and growing. If there ever comes a time in your life or your business that you are no longer afraid of anything, please, 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 please shoot me a message right away, because that means something is terribly wrong. Because that means you're no longer progressing and you really need help. In fact, someone that's really, really afraid and someone that's not afraid at all, sometimes we think, well, that person's fearless. That person must be incredible. No, 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 that person's not growing. Okay? If you're afraid, that's a good thing, guys. It's a good thing. Okay? So let's talk about, first of all, what fear is. I'm going to give you a definition from, I got it from Webster's.com, something like that. Everything's true on the internet, right? So it's fine. And it says this: fear is an emotion induced by a threat perceived by living entities, which causes a change in brain and organ function and ultimately a change in behavior, such as running away, hiding, or freezing from traumatic events. This is bugging the crap out of me because you guys can like barely see me. I'm actually going to scoot my chair back. Is that okay? Is it okay if you guys see a little bit more of me than just like my ears? I feel really weird because I use my hands a lot when I speak. If you can only use my ears, I can wiggle my ears. It's a talent that I have. But I can only do that so much and speak at the same time. My hands kind of move with my words. Is this okay? Can you guys still see me? All right. See my hands? Cool. Okay, good. So let me read that to you again. Okay. Fear is an emotion. First thing I need you to understand is that fear is an emotion. Okay. And it's induced by a threat perceived. Notice it didn't say a true or actual threat. It said a threat perceived by living entities, which causes a change in brain and organ function and ultimately a change in behavior, such as running away, hiding, or freezing. Now, let me ask you this. Has anyone on this call ever in your business felt like running away, hiding, or freezing? Come on, raise your hand. Anybody? Okay, good. Almost everybody. If you have never felt like running, hiding, or freezing, then I have to wonder if you've actually opened up your first challenge pack yet. Because if you've just got started on your health journey, you've had some moments where you've wanted to run away, hide, and freeze. Am I right? So here's another definition that I like to give of fear. Fear, and this is something a youth pastor told me when I was like 16 years old, and it just stuck with me. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Write that down. False evidence appearing real. Now I want you to think back to when you were a kid, or maybe this is super relevant to you if you have small children. I have 3 kids myself and a 4th one on the way. So this is something we dealt with for many years, but I like to take it back to my childhood. It's fun to remember what it was like to be a kid sometimes, to remember what it was like to not have bills and not have responsibilities. And the only fear we had was at nighttime. Mom and dad come to give us a drink of water, tuck us in. You know, my parents would always pray over us at night, give us a kiss, and everything is good. Megan Sayeni is on here. What is up, girl? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, our parents do this really mean thing. They turn out the lights. What the heck you doing, Mom? Turning out the lights on me? And now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there are monsters in the closet. Where'd those things come from? There's like snakes under the bed. Freddy Krueger's like knocking on the window. Where did all this crazy stuff come from? I'll tell you where it came from. It came from the lights being turned off and us no longer being able to see. Now, do we have any fortune tellers on the call tonight? Any fortune tellers? Raise your hand if you're a fortune teller. Anybody? I've still yet to find a fortune teller. One of these days, someone's going to raise their hand and it's going to throw off my whole spiel. So if none of you are fortune tellers, that means none of you know the future. Am I right? Which means that as far as the future is concerned, the lights are completely out. Am I right? And that's one of the things that makes this business so hard. And it makes this business way harder sometimes than a day job. I mean, in a day job, at least you know I clock in for 8 hours and you're going to pay me exactly this much money, right? I get this lunch break, or if you're like the day job I had, you don't get a lunch break. But hey, you know you're not getting a lunch break, right? You're going to get these benefits, or if you had my job, no benefits. But you know exactly you're trading your time, your energy, your effort, or lack thereof, for a certain amount of money. In other words, there's an agreement, there's an understanding of what you're going to get in return. Am I right? Now, Beachbody's a little different, isn't it? Because you're going to have, hopefully, at least 5 conversations a day, and nobody pays you for those conversations, do they? You're going to work out every single day to be a product of the product, and nobody's going to pay you for that, are they? You're going to do personal development every single day. I hope you're doing personal development every single day. Come on, just lie to me for a second and let me believe you're all doing personal development, okay? And no one's going to pay you a penny to do personal development. Am I right? This is what makes being an entrepreneur challenging is there's no guarantees whatsoever, which means the lights are completely out. And what happens when the lights are out? We learned as a kid, our imagination goes to work, thinking up of any and every possible bad thing that could happen. Because we can't see. And what is fear? It is an emotion induced by a threat perceived. Which means anytime we perceive a threat, we're going to freak out. I mean, that's just all there is to it, guys. We will freak out. Your emotions will go crazy. And if your name is Josh or you're a woman, you are a very emotional person. Now, some of you aren't, okay, but I like to tease myself sometimes. I always tell people I'm wired way more like a chick than I am like a dude. I have a wife. I love her to death, but we kind of have like reverse roles in our marriage where I'm like the weird emotional one that gets all like weird and crazy, and she has to tell me to settle down and everything's going to be okay. It's really kind of weird, but you know what? I don't care. It's whatever. It helps me understand Beachbody coaches better, right? Because you're all women. Maybe there's a dude. No, I don't see any dudes. Maybe I just check both pages here. Nope, no dudes. Every once in a while I see a dude on a call, and it's really cool. We like to give each other a high five and say, hey, good to meet you. But for the most part, we're a bunch of emotional people. And it doesn't help when we have no idea what's coming. No idea at all. So that's what fear is, okay? It's us getting freaked out and getting spooked out anytime we don't know exactly what's happening. Lots of people are really, really, really happy to work a really crappy day job just because they know exactly what they get in exchange for what they're doing. Am I right? Lots of people are just totally okay with having it like that for the rest of their life because they would rather do that than try to chase their dreams and not know what will happen. It's kind of sad if you actually say it out loud that way, isn't it? So that's what fear is. Let's talk about why fear is, okay? So I like to call it every single one of us in our brain. Brooke, you keep moving around every time someone gets on the call. I'm like, where'd Brooke go? This is weird. So I like to say that every single one of us have what's like a smoke detector in our brain. Now, there is a scientific name for this thing, but I'm not like a smart intellectual dude, so I can never remember what it's called. One of these days I'm going to look it up. But basically every single one of us have this thing in our brain, and its only job is to warn us anytime, write these two things down, anytime we come into unconquered or undiscovered territory. Write that down. Unconquered, undiscovered territory. Okay? Now let me ask you this. How many of you, when the smoke detector goes off, whatever, fire alarm, whatever, in your house, how many of you grab your belongings and run out the door as fast as you possibly can, yelling and screaming and calling 911? Does anybody do that? Anybody? Get some weird looks from the neighbors, huh? And charged a lot of money from the firefighters for showing up when they didn't need to. What do you do? What do you do when the smoke detector goes off? I'll tell you what we do in my house. We tell Dad to never cook again. Dad meaning me. A few weeks ago, I don't know how many of you are friends with me on Facebook. Megan, you might have saw this. I almost burned our house down because I was fixing some Easy Mac for my kid. I know it's not on the meal plan, but sometimes we do bad stuff like that. And I forgot to add water to the Easy Mac. That's really bad. So the cardboard box caught on fire. Me being the multitasker, I'm an entrepreneur. I do a lot of things at once. I put the Easy Mac in the microwave and I went to take a pee. I was just like, you know what? I got to pee sometime. Why not do it while the food's cooking? I'm not going to just sit and stare at it. I'm sure I was probably answering a message from Megan with my left hand and going pee and burning down the house all at once. And so I hear my kids yelling, Dad, there's smoke, there's smoke, there's smoke. I'm going, what? Smoke? What is going on? I run in there, and of course, in the microwave is a nice little fire, and we had to throw it outside and hose it down and basically leave all of the windows open for several hours because our house smelled so terrible. Now, a smoke detector's only job is to detect when there's smoke. But how many of you know 99 times out of 100, there is smoke and no actual danger? Would you guys agree? Most of the time, you just, I don't know, maybe like a little piece of food like spilled off of the oven and is down on the bottom and cooking itself. I used to do that all the time because I never cleaned my oven. Anyways, most of the time, there is no real issue. Now, I will tell you this, 99 times out of 100 that you've been afraid in your life, and especially in your business, there was absolutely no danger whatsoever. It's just that we have this thing in our stupid head that lets us know anytime we come into unconquered or undiscovered territory. Now, how many of you as entrepreneurs have run into some unconquered and undiscovered territory? Raise your hand. A few of us? Okay. Let me ask you this. How many of you are still trying to make progress on your health journey? Raise your hand. I'll raise two hands. I've put a little, my wife's been pregnant and I got a little baby growing down here myself, so I'm having to go to 2-a-days for a little bit, okay? Here's the thing. If you're trying to conquer a health journey and a business journey at the same time, guess what? Your smoke detector is pretty much going to be going off all the time. That kind of sucks, doesn't it? But guess what? I promise you it's worth it. Okay? It's worth it, but I need to teach you how to check for fires. Because if I don't, you're going to spend the rest of your life running out the door with all of your belongings, calling 911, and looking like a moron. I can't tell you how many times my clients get messages from coaches, and I apologize if one of you have sent a message like this, but bear with me. Can everyone handle a little bit of real talk? Can we all handle a little real talk? See, I get to give real talk because you never have to see me again if you don't want to. So I get to give the real talk that your coaches wish they could give you, okay? I promise Brooke didn't ask me to say this tonight. But so many times my clients get messages that sound something like this. Hey, I think I'm going to have to step back from my business for a little bit. We're moving in 3 months. And I'm just really stressed out. I know it's going to be a lot of pressure. I don't know if I can handle work in my business. What they're really saying is the smoke detector is going crazy because one more thing got added to my plate. And instead of thinking about what I really want in life and what I really want a year from now or 5 years from now, I'm instead thinking about what it's going to cost me today, and I really don't want to pay the price. Have you guys all heard the saying that says this? And I think I've seen it posted on Facebook and Instagram a million times by different Beachbody coaches, but it says something like this. Next time you say, I don't have time, try saying instead, it's not a priority. Now, we tell people this on our health journey all the time, and we love to post little fun things like that to call people out for making excuses to not be on their health journey. And then we turn around and do the exact same thing with our business. Why? I like to say that we as humans are absolutely terrible at taking the lessons we've learned on one journey in life and applying them to the next journey. So many of you have been overcoming fears one day at a time for the last 6 months, for the last year, for the last 2 years on your health journey. You get up and you push play every single day. And when it comes to your business, man, you listen to that smoke detector every single time. Every single time. Why? Because you forgot the lessons you learned on your health journey. That if you just keep pushing play day after day after day after day, no matter how scary it is, no matter how tired you are, no matter how bad it hurts, eventually it gives you progress that is worth the pain it took to get there. Am I right? Sorry, all of that real talk wasn't even in my notes. I just wanted to throw that in for fun. So what fear is something we're just scared of because we can't see. Why fear is because God is smart enough to give us a built-in smoke detector to help protect us. How many of you know if we didn't have smoke detectors in our house, even though they only actually are helpful 1 out of 100 times, that 1 out of 100 times saves a few lives? Would you agree? It's the same with this thing in our brain. Yes, 99 times out of 100, it's absolutely nothing. But you know what? Every once in a while, you might actually walk out in the street and there's a car flying at you. And you look up and see the car 20 inches from your face, and you need to react like that to jump out of the way and save you and your kid's life. In that instance, you are very, very, very thankful for the fact that this emotion shot straight down your body and caused you to run. Remember, it causes you to run, hide, or freeze. I really hope in that instance it doesn't cause you to freeze, but I'm hoping it causes you to run or hide and get away from the stupid car, right? But 99 times out of 100, we're running, hiding, and freezing, and there is no car coming down the street. It's something silly. So this is why I need you to understand how to overcome fear. I needed you to know, first of all, that fear is just an emotion. It's just a trip. But I also needed you to know why, that it is a natural part of our chemistry, like the way our body and brain is made up. It exists there. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It needs to be there because 1 time out of 100, it will save our life. But the other 99 times, God was counting on us. And this was the mistake he made. The only mistake God ever made was counting on us to be smart enough to use logic the other 99 times. You see, we as humans are become so attached to our emotions that we've become really, really, really bad at ever using any type of logic. Remember what I mentioned earlier? Most Americans wake up every single day and go to a job that they absolutely hate. They work there for 45 to 50 years doing something they absolutely hate so that they can retire and live the last 15 years of their life when they're too old to climb mountains or go skiing or do any of the stuff that we all dream about doing. They spend the last 15 minutes finally getting to do what they wanted to do. Now you tell me, are we good with logic or do we suck with logic? Because to me, there's no logic there at all. We get one life, and most people spend 5 days out of the week doing something they absolutely hate. And then when we offer them the opportunity to build life by design, they say, no thanks, I don't want any of that pyramid stuff. I mean, that's crazy. Oh yeah, I'm sure you're right. I forgot. It's absolutely crazy to actually want to do something you're passionate about and build a life by design where you can give yourself 150% raise every single year. You're right. That's crazy. I would never want anything to do with that either. You see how stupid we are sometimes? In fact, I would bet every single one of you on this call, myself included, was skeptical about the business when you first heard about it, right? Why? Because we're more in touch to our emotions than we are to our logic. And that can be good sometimes. I mean, sure, it's awesome when you're listening to your favorite song. I mean, it's awesome when you're, at a concert or hanging out with your friends, but we do need a little bit of logic if we're ever going to be successful in life. Would you agree? So let's talk about how we overcome this. You ready for this? And then I'm going to take you through some specific situations that I promise you are struggling with right now, and we're going to hit up some specific recruiting fears. Sound good? Okay, so the number one thing you have to do if you want to overcome fear, number one thing, say it out loud to someone you trust. Say it out loud to someone you trust. This is why, 20 plus Beachbody coaches are willing to pay for my one-on-one time, because it gives them someone to talk their fears through with. Because guess what? It's not always easy to use logic when your fear and your emotion is attached to the situation you're facing, right? But how many of you have been talking to someone else and you're spilling your beans to them and they're like, okay, so it sounds to me, let's just go back to like high school, okay? Or maybe even college. It sounds to me like this dude is an absolute douche. He never calls you. He never shows up. And you just don't want to break up with him because you don't want to feel alone. Come on, how many of you have ever had to tell a friend something like that back in your college days, right? What was the problem? They were so emotionally attached to the situation, they couldn't think straight, right? Now that's funny, like college humor, whatever. But in your business, if you are struggling with a fear, if you say it out loud to someone you trust, they're not attached to those feelings the way you are, and they can actually use their brain and help you walk through it. Now, I must overemphasize that it's got to be someone you trust. Do not talk about your fears with someone who is not on a learning, growing path themselves. For any of you who have read the 10X rule, you'll find this a little bit humorous. I hope I'm going to do my best impersonation of Grant Cardone. There are always people in your life that are saying, calm down. You just need to settle down. Stop trying so hard. Find some balance. You don't need to do that. Just find something safe. People in life that are not learning and are not growing are always trying to talk you into also not learning and not growing. We've all heard the saying, misery loves company. No one likes to see their best friend becoming successful while they sit around eating Cheetos on the couch and watching 20 episodes of Netflix. Am I right? Please, please, please don't talk about your fears to people who aren't on the same path as you. Reach out to your upline coach. Reach out to a friend on the team. If you have a friend in your life that actually reads books and actually has dreams about the future, it's okay to talk to them. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Beachbody person, okay? But it needs to be someone you can trust, that they're not going to try to get you to back down from your dreams. They're going to encourage you to pursue your dreams. Does that make sense? Jim Rohn says you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You need to choose those 5 people very, very wisely. You will end up 5 years from now going the same place the 5 people around you are going. So if you're looking at their life and saying, man, 5 years they're going to be exactly like they are today or worse, you need new friends. Ain't nobody want to be the same or worse 5 years from now. You want to keep getting that 2% raise every single year? Keep hanging out with a bunch of people that get 2% raise every. And I'm not trying to dog people that have day jobs. I had a day job for many, many years before I was able to get my business going. My only point is, if they're not dreaming of a better life, they're not going to help you dream of a better life. Okay? So first thing, say it out loud to someone you trust. Second thing, ask yourself the most valuable question I've learned in my entire life, and that is this: what do I have to lose versus what do I have to gain? What do I have to lose versus what do I have to gain? Now, I know from talking to lots of Beachbody coaches that the number one thing Beachbody coaches do not do, which is really, really bad because it's one of the 3 vital behaviors, is this one word said 3 times. Maybe you've heard it before. Invite, invite, invite. It's one of the 3 vitals, if you didn't know. I hope you knew. I really hope you know. That's one of, but sometimes I wonder if Beachbody coaches actually know that that's one of the 3 vitals, because in my Josh statistics, I call them Josh statistics because I have no proof other than the hundreds of people that I've talked to, 90% of Beachbody coaches are not having daily conversations. And yet, I would say, and pretty much anyone that's having success would agree with me, that convos are the only thing that put money in your wallet. There isn't a single other part of this business that actually makes you money. Every once in a while, someone will comment on a post. Every once in a while, someone will say, yep, I'm in, just sign me up. I don't care how much it costs. But how often does that happen? Not very often, or all Beachbody coaches would be 5-star diamond elite coaches, because all of you guys love word swag and Rona design and making fun, pretty posts. It's just that most people aren't having conversations. Or if they are having conversations, they're doing this thing that I hate so bad. They're forming people to death. Now, how many of you know what the word form is? How many of you have heard of forming people? Anybody? Form means to strike up a conversation and create a relationship before you send the invite, okay? Well, the letters for form stand for family, occupation, recreation, message. If this is a new word to you, write it down, because, I mean, it actually is a good technique. Family, occupation, recreation, message. The acronym is FORM, okay? So when you say you're forming someone, it means you're trying to build a relationship and build some trust before you actually send them an invite. This is really the only way to make a sale with someone in your cold market, is to first talk about their family or their occupation or their recreation before you give them the message which would be the invite. Here's the problem. Most of the Beachbody coaches that are having regular conversations are talking for infinity about family, occupation, recreation, and they never even get to the message, which is, hey, would you like to be in my next challenge group? Do you have any interest in learning more about what I do as a coach? We talk about their dog, their cat, their kid, their birthday party, their couch, their favorite wine for like literally 9 months. And then people get overwhelmed and go, I can't handle this daily convo thing, man. It's just so overwhelming. Well, of course it's overwhelming because you've got 45 different people you're talking to about their dog, and not a single one of them has received an invite, which means in 45 conversations, you have not received one single no. Why? Because you are scared to death of rejection. I see heads shaking. You are scared to death of rejection. It's not that you don't believe in Beachbody or Shakeology or Shalene or Tony or Shanti or Sagi or Autumn. It's not that you don't believe in what you have to offer. You're just scared to death of someone rejecting you. Because you think if they say, no, I don't want to be in your next challenge group, or no, I have no interest in what you do as a coach, that you have been rejected. And so you go on talking about their dog for the next 9 years. Meanwhile, you haven't hit Success Club once. And their dog has actually died. And now you've run out of things. The conversation actually doesn't end until people's dogs finally start dying. If you can hold on to the company, if you can stay in the company for that long to actually see these dogs die and never send an invite, I mean, I guess kudos to you for being super loyal, okay? But what would be really cool is if you would send them an invite before their dog dies, okay? So why do you guys have this fear of rejection? Let's chat about that for a second. Let's ask ourselves, what do we have to lose versus what do we have to gain? Okay, so let's walk through this. I love to walk through this and actually show people, because when you walk through it, it's actually kind of funny. What do you have to lose by actually saying, would you like to join my challenge group? Let's talk about what you have to lose, okay? Number one, you have 5 seconds to lose. If you are a Beachbody coach, I promise you, you can type on your phone as fast as I can. Us people who build our businesses online, I can actually type without looking at my iPhone. How many of you can do that? Can you type without looking? Like, I can be typing, I'm like sitting there and the kid will do something and I'll look up at the kid and my fingers just keep going. And I look down, I'm like, oh, I typed like 20 words while I was looking up. Would you like to join my next challenge group? Takes 5 seconds. So you have lost. Let's be realistic. You have actually lost 5 seconds of your life that you'll never get back, right? Here's the other thing that you could lose. They could say something really, really, really mean, like, oh my gosh, you stupid. I can't believe you would invite me to a challenge group. I mean, that could actually happen. To be honest, I've only got rude people like maybe a handful of times in the hundreds of people that I've talked to. But it could happen. I'm just trying to be realistic and put some points on your side so that you don't feel as silly when I show you the other side, okay? So you could get insulted, which would hurt your feelings. I mean, would it? I mean, it would. It still hurts my feelings when people are rude to me. I had someone straight up tell me that responded to my Facebook ad about my Art of Recruiting group. I told them, this is what it is, this is what it costs, and they straight up said, there's no way your training groups are worth that much. They actually said that in a message. This is a Beachbody coach, okay? Someone who should be used to being like told things like, hey, that costs too much, and should know how to politely say things. You would think, I mean, apparently no one's ever been rude to her, so she doesn't know what it feels like. She's just like, there's no way your trainings are worth that much. I'm just like, okay, that's cool. You should tell 4 top 10 coaches that work with me that my trainings aren't worth that much because they're sending their whole teams to go through my training groups. Oh, and by the way, one actually paid for all of her PS coaches who hit Success Club to go through one of my training. But you're right, it's probably not worth it. You're right. That's what I wanted to say, but of course I was nice. So you could lose 5 seconds of your time. You could lose some feelings because that does hurt when people are mean, okay? And you could lose a Facebook friend or an Instagram follower. Wouldn't that just be the worst? If someone you haven't seen in 15 years and never plan to see again for the rest of your life decided to unfriend or unfollow you? I mean, that'd just be the worst. I mean, I'd be devastated, right? I think you guys are maybe getting my sarcastic tone here. So that's what you have to lose. Wow, that's not real impressive going that way, is it? So let's talk about what you have to gain, okay? Someone could sign up for a challenge pack. You gain instantly, well, not instantly, it takes till next Thursday, right? $35 or $40. Or if it's a Shaun T challenge pack, maybe $70 because, dude, his challenge packs are like $5,000, right? So maybe you get like a $70 commission check because they decide to do one of Shaun T's programs, okay? You could potentially make some money. To be honest, though, that is, in my opinion, the absolute lowest thing you have to gain. Because if that person does buy a challenge pack, they join a challenge group, in the next 60 days, they're probably going to see their life changed forever. They're probably going to lose weight. They're probably going to get in better shape. They're probably going to have more confidence than they've ever had. They're probably going to become a better person because, as you guys know, Beachbody encourages transformation from the inside out. It's never just about the body, right? It happens in here and it happens in here, right? Again, though, that's just a start. What if this person loves Shaco so much and their life is transformed so much that they decide to sign up as a coach? Now we're talking some volume. Now we're talking possibly some residual income. Now we're talking possibly some bonus checks, right? What if that person gets so inspired that they decide to start having daily convos, they start inviting people, and they sell some challenge packs, which means, guess what? You helped that person financially, but that person is helping people to change their life from the inside out. Do you see where this is going? By you sending invites, you will for sure lose 5 seconds of your time. You will for sure every once in a while run into a rude person that will hurt your feelings. And you will for sure every once in a while get someone who will unfriend you. But you will also every once in a while get a challenger whose life will be changed forever, who will go on to change other people's lives forever, who will then go on to inspire other people's lives forever. Next thing you know, you wake up 2 years from now and you've literally affected and inspired and motivated hundreds of people to live their very best life. Now, that's just the start, guys. Let's really dig deep here. Because as we're sitting here on this call tonight, getting motivation, I hope, inspiration, I hope, and I hope learning something valuable, spending time with people who are encouraging you to live out your dreams, surrounded by positive people who care about you and are helping you right now as we speak. There is a mom sitting on a couch somewhere in North America that is depressed. She is exhausted. She has lost all form of identity that she once had because she's been married and she's been raising 3 kids and she doesn't even remember who she is. She's lost her health. She's lost any confidence or feeling of significance that she once had. And I would bet you $1 million there are even moms, women right now considering taking their own life. I know that's a bit extreme, but I've talked to many Beachbody coaches who were not far from that just a few years ago. As we sit here having a great time, I don't know if anybody's having a great time anymore. I think I killed that. Hanging out with Beachbody coaches, getting in the best shape you've ever been in, waking up every single day to check in on your challenge group to find out what inspiring things are happening. There's someone somewhere that's this close to a divorce. There's someone else that is being abused by their husband. There's someone else going through a pregnancy all alone. Do you catch what I'm putting out here? And we are not giving them the greatest gift, one of the greatest gifts we've ever received in life, because 5 seconds, every once in a while someone's rude, and every once in a while someone unfollows us. Does that put it into perspective for you of what you have to lose versus what you have to gain? I will say this, that fear is the most selfish thing in the world. Because fear constantly has us thinking, how will this situation affect me? If you were actually thinking about how the situation was going to affect others, you would send an invite to every person on the face of the planet. You'd probably even be sending messages to people in China. You'd be like, we can't really help you right now, but I know at some point we will, and I just want to get the word out there because I want to help you. If you realize what you had to offer people, you would never think twice about sending an invite. Now, don't get me wrong. You're still going to be afraid. I'm not saying that fear is going to go away, because that never goes away, guys. Never, ever, ever, ever. I was scared to death to reach out to some people just a few weeks ago. It was some people that one of my clients had introduced me to. It was some fellow top 10s that she knew, but I had absolutely no connection to them whatsoever. And I was scared to death to reach out to them. Why? Because I thought they would think, who's this annoying guy? Who's this idiot? Blah, 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 blah. So what did I do? Thank God I was reading a John Maxwell book one night, and he was talking about how he had faced his fears and reached out to some people he wanted to spend time with, and how it ended up working out for him. So I said, screw it. I might as well just go for it. As a result, I ended up speaking for 2 incredibly amazing coaches that have incredibly huge downlines, and opened up my business to whole new people. Now I get to help more people. Why? Because I faced my fears. And guess what? Some bad stuff did happen. Some of the coaches actually sent screenshots to my friend that gave me the introduction, and were like, who the heck's this guy throwing around your name and saying that blah, 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 blah. But you know what? That's what I had to lose, but I gained out of it a new client that's a freaking rock star, and I'm super excited about working with her. I gained dozens of people that are going to be in my training groups. More people that I can help. Now, had I have sat back and not reached out to those coaches, my business would have missed a step that it could have taken in a positive direction, and hundreds of lives would have missed out on an opportunity to hear my voice. So now let's move on to some of the recruiting fears, because I know as I said that, some of you had the nerve to think my voice isn't as important as his. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, yeah, Josh speaks on team calls, works with top coaches. So yeah, of course his voice needs to be heard. But I mean, my voice? Is my voice really that special? Let me ask you guys this, because this is, I think, something that people struggle with recruiting, is you're not a successful coach. So how are you going to help people? I can't post like Megan Ewaldson did about the fact that I just bought a brand new 4Runner with my weekly paycheck. I can't talk about the fact that I quit my job. I can't talk about the fact that I make all this money and I'm a freaking awesome rock star. How am I supposed to recruit coaches if I'm not a successful coach? That is such a great question. And I like to answer questions with questions. I love questions. Let me ask you this. How many people on this call are health and fitness experts? Raise your hand. Health and fitness experts, meaning you're like a certified personal trainer. You've got a college degree in, whatever the heck that's called. I don't even know what it's called. That's how little of an expert I am. Okay. I didn't see any hands. I didn't see page 2. Maybe there was a hand. Sometimes there is a hand that goes up. The most I've ever seen is 3 hands on a call of 50 people. Now, raise your hand if you've helped someone lose weight. Even me, I'm not even a Beachbody coach and I've helped someone lose weight. Raise your hand if you've helped someone lose weight. Come on, raise it high. Raise it high and proud. You should be proud, man. You helped somebody lose weight. That's freaking rad. So what I'm seeing here is that it does not take an expert to help people. Would you agree? How many of you run marathons or play professional sports? Anybody? Okay, we have a couple marathon runners. I'm assuming marathon runners. How about professional sports? No professional sports. Okay. So what we're seeing here is we have a few people that are like if you run marathons, you're a freak of nature. You're amazing. Kudos to you. But for the rest of us, we're just average people that just press play every day. Would you agree? Lots of us still with some weight to lose, still with some toning up to do, and yet we help people lose weight and tone up every single day. Even though we're still learning and we're not 100% successful on our health journey yet. I'm not. I got a nice little gut over here, but I promise you right now I could help someone on their health journey. Do you know how I could help them? Let me give you a couple ways that I would go about helping them. I'm sure you would do something similar. I would set them up with a Beachbody program where they would get a workout plan, they would get a meal plan, and of course they would need Shaco, right? And then I would put them in some type of, maybe a challenge group where I would check in with them every day and I would love them and I would help them and I would support them, and they would ask me a million questions that I didn't know the answer to, but I would find someone that did know the answer. So how in the world, if we're not successful coaches, can we help coaches? Last time I checked, you could plug them into Beachbody. They have this thing called training. I'm sure Brooke has some training. If Brooke doesn't have training, Lauren has training. If Lauren doesn't training, my gosh, Brandy Bots, I promise you, has some freaking training, okay? Somebody, guess what? If she doesn't, we can still count on Christine Dwyer. Somebody in your upline has some freaking training. And then we can put them in some type of group. I don't know. I hear they have these things called team pages where they can check in and get accountability and love and support. And we're not going to know all the answers to all the questions, but somewhere between Brooke and Lauren and Brandy and Christine Dwyer, someone knows the answer to their question. Would you agree? So how in the world are you going to help coaches to become successful? The same way you help them become successful on their health journey. You're just going to love them and support them and be there for them. And guess what? Even the most successful coaches in this company have people quit on them, have people that never hit Success Club, have people that never recruit. In fact, the top coaches, I'll tell you this, they have way more people that never pan out than anyone else. Why? Because they recruit a lot of people. You get frustrated that 2 people a month say no to you. They have 2 people a week straight up quit coaching on them. For every 2 times you hear no, they hear it about 2,000 times. But do you know why they're so successful? because they're willing to hear no 2,000 times. That's it. The only difference between successful coaches and unsuccessful coaches are successful coaches are willing to be rejected and face their fears for the fact of the people that they'll be able to help. They're not worried about the people that are going to reject them and say no and say screw you and whatever, send the sad face emojis or the mean face, whatever, because they're too focused on all the people that they have the opportunity to help. And none of those successful coaches started out as successful coaches. Have you ever met someone that was top 10 their first month? I mean, I haven't. Have you ever met anyone that's a superstar diamond their first month? I sure haven't. I mean, if they're out there, like, I want to know who the heck they are. I'd like to meet them. Everyone starts out as just a coach who's trying to figure it out. So what's another fear that you have with recruiting? You want to hear my favorite one? This is my favorite one. I don't want to sound salesy. How many people have used the word salesy? Come on, be honest. Raise your hand. Now, I have a theory that this is a word that was actually created by Beachbody coaches. Because I'd never heard it in my life until I started working with Beachbody coaches. And then I hear all these people saying, I don't want to be salesy. I looked up salesy. It's not in the dictionary. Salesy is not a word. Sales is a word. Salesy, I don't know what that is, guys. It's a word we made up because we saw people on Instagram saying stuff like this. Oh my gosh, your profile's great. I don't know if you'd be interested or not, but there's a link in my bio if you'd like to rep my brand. You can come check it out at my website and sign up. And if you're interested, just let me know. And you're like, what the heck? I don't even know who you are. And you go to their Instagram page and it's got 4 pictures and it's got like 2 followers. And you're like, what? And so you came up with this word called salesy, which really just means that there's a lot of people out there doing it completely wrong. Right? And that's why we hear people all the time. I don't want to sign up as a coach because I don't want to have to sell stuff. I don't want to have to sell. And you're scared to death to talk about the business opportunity because you think it's a salesy thing that people will be offended by. Can I ask you guys something? How many of you have ever walked into a restaurant that had a now hiring sign on it? Anybody? Anybody? Now, did anybody on this call get offended when you saw a now hiring sign? Did anybody go, Chick-fil-A, they're just so salesy, always trying to hire people. I love that chicken, but man, they're just so salesy. Anyone ever said that? No. Why is it salesy to offer people the opportunity to change lives? I don't know. How is that salesy at all? Because we've seen people do it wrong. So what do you need to do? Don't do it wrong. Don't be an idiot. If you just have like literally any common sense whatsoever, surely you know how to properly say to someone, hey, I don't know if you've ever saw my posts, but I'm an online health and fitness coach. I provide support for people. And I think you are like one of the most inspiring people I've ever been around. Like, I just absolutely love your energy. Would you be interested in hearing more about what I do? Now, would any of you be offended if someone said, oh my gosh, you are absolutely inspiring and I'm motivated by you. I would love to have you on my team. Now, if someone in the corporate world said something like that to you, would you be offended that they're trying to hire you? Most of you would be so flattered. You'd let them take you out for coffee. You'd go to a job interview, even if you had absolutely no desire to work for their business, just because you're just so flattered. It just feels so good to have someone actually like you and want you, right? So why in the world is it that we make this big, huge deal out of offering people an opportunity to be on our team and help us change lives? Once again, because fear has us thinking too much about how it will feel to us if they say no. instead of what it could be like for them if they say yes. Am I right? Fear is selfish. So if you have any other fears, I'm going to actually let you, I know I've gone like for 9,000 years here. So does anyone else have any other fears? I'll let you type it in the chat box and I'll walk you through it. Okay. If you have another fear about recruiting or about the business in general that I didn't hit up, just put it in the chat box. I want to see it because I promise I'm not going to like call you out and make fun of you. Okay. I'll take it easy on you, but I just want to see if there's something that I missed that someone else is going through. Come on, type away. I know you guys can type like 50 words a second. Don't be shy. I'll be nice. I promise. Anyone else? No chats? Everyone, come on. There's like 50,000 people in here are like hanging out, having a good time. Losing. Ooh, okay. There they come. Okay. Losing real-time friends. Ooh, I love this one. Okay. So my question for Sandy, who says she's afraid she'll lose, I'm assuming what she means is like the friends that I actually have, the people that I actually care about. Like you're talking about, yeah, it's not that bad if I lose someone I haven't talked to in 15 years, but what if I lose a close friend because I asked them to join the company? And my question, again, I love to answer questions with questions. My question for you would be, are they really a friend? If they're going to stop being your friend because you just offered them the opportunity to join a business. Now, they may not like it. They may say, I don't want to. But if they say no, we don't have to like hound them and haunt them for the rest of our lives. We can just say, okay, no problem. I just wanted to check. I mean, and that's the thing, guys. If you were going to suggest your favorite restaurant to someone, would you be offended if they were like, I don't really like Italian food? I mean, you might slap them across the face for not liking Italian food because that's just dumb, but you wouldn't be offended, right? Your friendship wouldn't come between this. Here's the deal. If this is your life and something you are this excited about that's going to change your life forever, any true friend will at least support your decision even if they don't want to join you. Does that make sense? And if they don't support your decision, why the heck are they your friend? I mean, if my friend came to me, said, Josh, I'm doing this new multi-level marketing, it's blah, 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 blah. Even if I thought it was the biggest scam, biggest ripoff in my life, I might ask them a few questions just to make sure they knew what they were getting into. But if it's what they really, really, really wanted to do, I'd be like, you know what? Go for it. Like, if you need some advice from me, I'm your friend. I'll support you. Real friends support people. That's what friends do. Okay? So if they don't support, I really have to wonder if they're a friend. Okay? And if at first they aren't interested, they might come back later down the road. Exactly. Okay. So Brooke says, one I hear from new coaches that they don't know the products and what they're talking about. So what if someone asks a question they don't know the answer to, which I love because none of us know all the answers, guys. I get questions from my clients almost every single day. Now, not all of them. I mean, I get a little overwhelmed with all of them, but almost every single day I get at least one message from a client. Now, we're talking, guys, some of these are 15-star coaches. Some of these are top 10 coaches. Many of them are elite coaches. And I get a message almost every single day with, hey, this is happening and I don't know how to handle it. If you think that there is some level of coach where everyone has all the answers, you are wrong. Carl Deichler himself doesn't have all the answers. That's why he has a lot of people that he surrounds him with that are really smart. If you don't know the answer, you don't have to answer. Guess what? We have this cool thing on Messenger where you can swipe to the left and hit mark as unread. I don't know if you guys know about that, but I definitely do. You can show it as mark as unread so that it doesn't look like you've actually seen the message, and then you can go message your upline coach. Hey, this person, I got a message literally from someone tonight because they knew that I'd done Body Beast, was like, hey, Brittany told me to message you. I've got a a customer who wants to bulk, and I don't know anything about bulking. I'm trying to lose weight. Can you help me out? And I said, yeah, of course I can help you out. Let me tell you a little bit about Body Beast. Everyone in the Beachbody family is incredibly helpful, and we love helping each other. If you ever don't have the answer, that's good. That's how we learn, and that's how we grow, is to seek out those answers and get help, okay? One fear is that your friends will talk behind your back about your sales job. Oh, I love it, Nancy. I love it. Nancy, I really, really, really hope that your friends are talking behind your back, because that means you're actually doing something. But let's walk through this for a second, because that's not good enough to fix your mindset, okay? Let me ask you this. Can I unmute you? Is that okay? Or I can't unmute you. You'll have to unmute you.
Okay.
Do you mind me asking you a few questions to walk you through this?
Fine.
Is that okay? Okay. I'm not trying to embarrass you, I promise. Okay? Let me ask you why you're doing this business.
I started doing it for myself so that it held me accountable, and I was going to learn to be able to help other people going through the same thing, because being in the trenches sucks, and I know that it sucks for them too, and I wanted to help them do it.
So people going through the same thing. Walk me through what's the same thing? Walk me through that.
Fighting, getting your eating under control, losing weight, or just getting fit.
Yeah.
Getting off the couch and moving, or getting in a better frame of mind from being at home with 3 kids for the last, 23 years. It gets a little nutty. So yeah, you need to get out of that and become your own person again.
Yes. I love that. It's one of my favorite things to hear, because my wife went through the same thing. That's why my wife signed up for Beachbody about a year ago. So let me ask you this. What was your life like before Beachbody?
I had 3 kids, and I was running for them all the time, and my husband. And so my life was all about them and not me. Yeah. And so I lost who I was in the last 24 years. And so I needed to kind of recreate me. And I gained weight. I got miserable. I was no fun. Oh, actually, it was fun to be around, but that was just a facade.
Yeah.
Really who I was inside. And then my daughter, 2 years ago, we found out she had cancer, and our lives went crazy.
Yeah.
So for 2.5 years now, we've just been living to keep her healthy. Yeah. And so I needed to find myself in all of this craziness.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. How many other women in North America right now, as we speak, are going through what you went through before you found Beachbody?
A lot. A lot are.
How many of them know Brooke?
How many, but I know it's a lot.
How many of them know Brooke?
Not as many as I do. I don't know.
You know lots of people that Brooke doesn't know, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
And you have a story that you can tell that Brooke can't tell, which means you have people that can relate to you that Brooke can't relate to, Lauren can't relate to, Brandy can't relate to. Only you can relate to. Now, let me ask you this. We just opened up a little bit about our why, which I absolutely love, because you're leading me into my next point. But let me ask you this. If you could help one other woman to have the change that you've had since you joined Beachbody, would that be worth having your friends talk behind your back?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Of course.
Because your comments before just kind of put it in perspective that they aren't really my friends if that's what they're going to do.
Right. And at the end of the day, some people may be making just fun jokes, and they really don't mean any harm. And at the end of the day, they still will be good friends and be there in love and support, and they're still going to have a good. I have a friend at my church who is an It Works rep, and I make fun of It Works on almost every single call that I get on. But at the same time, if she called me up and actually wanted some leadership advice or something like that, I would give it to her in a heartbeat, because I care about her as a person. I love to make fun of It Works. I love to joke about the fact that people wrap saran wrap around themselves and lose 45 inches in like 10 seconds. That's just hilarious to me. But at the end of the day, if that's her dream and that's what she wants to do and that's her passion, then I'm still going to support her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
thank you for letting me unmute you and walk you through that. I appreciate it. So Nancy brings me to my closing point, and that is this. The last way we overcome our fears is to have such an emotional connection to our why that nothing in the world can get in our way. Because when we think about what we really want in life, now, Nancy told me she wanted to help other women who were stuck the way she's stuck. For me personally, I worked a day job for 9.5 years that I absolutely hated. No benefits, no lunch break, no vacation, no paid time off whatsoever. My youngest son had 3 open heart surgeries by the age of 3. Through those open heart surgeries, I had no paid time off, which means I had to choose between making money and being with my kid in the hospital. Of course, I chose my kid, which means I sat there in the hospital worrying about money when I should be thinking about my kid. Never taking my family on vacations. Never buying my kids extra special stuff. Never feeling like I was a good dad because I had not provided my family with the life they deserved. Now, do you hear how quickly I was able to spat all of that off? Because I thought about it every single day. Every single day I came home from work and I was tired and I was exhausted and I was covered in sweat. And the last thing I wanted to do was push myself harder to build a business because I knew how much work and energy that would take. And I was already putting out so much work and energy. But I kept asking myself, Josh, do you want to live the rest of your life like this? Or do you want to sacrifice a few hours out of your day every single day for the next few years so you can live the rest of your life however you want? Today, I take my kids to school every single day. We get to pray together on the way to school, which is one of my favorite things in the world to do. By the time my kids get out of school, I'm done working. I have all evening with my kids because I was willing to sacrifice 2 years where I didn't get very much time with them at all. In fact, there were some times when the only time my kids saw me was to eat dinner real quick in between calls. But that's the sacrifice it took to give my family the life they deserve. That why kept me pushing. You know what? There was actually people that did hate on me. There was one person from corporate office that tried to call me out and put me in my place and basically tell me that I had no right talking to top coaches. I said, thank you, appreciate it. Talk to you soon. And I went on and I messaged more people. I had one person that basically thought I was trying to use and take advantage of one of my clients for dropping her name a lot. What she didn't know is that client told me I could drop her name, and she's one of my best friends. So you know what? Screw you. I'm going to keep doing it, and I'm going to keep building the life that my family deserves. Then a bunch of coaches start sending one of my clients screenshots of messages that I'm sending them, pissed off that I'm messaging them. You know what? Screw you. I don't care. I'm building the life that my family deserves, and I'm helping hundreds of people in the process. If you don't like it, I don't care. Because there's plenty of people that do. And there's plenty of people that need my help. And I'm going to keep pushing, and I'm going to keep moving until I've helped every single one of them. And I will never stop. I will never stop learning. I will never stop growing. I will never stop facing my fears, because there's always someone that needs to hear what I have to say. And some of you don't think that your story, and I'm sorry that I'm going over, Brooke, but I want to make one last point. Some of you don't think your stories are valid because you haven't lost 100 pounds, or you haven't quit a job, you haven't done this. You think, I can't tell my story because it's not valid. And to that, I have to call BS. I don't care what your story is. I don't care if your kids hasn't had 3 open heart surgeries like mine, okay? I don't care if you don't have some crappy life like I had. Whatever your story is, there is a world that needs to hear it. Not everyone's going to relate to my story. But your story has the power to change someone's life. So you have got to tell the world your story. Some of you are struggling because you're a mom, and one of your greatest fears, I'll hit up one more fear, is that you'll be a bad mom if you chase this business and go all in. That your kids won't get the mom that they deserve. And I have to ask you this. What kid wants their mom to live anything less than their best life? And let me ask you this. How many of you moms tell your kids that they can do anything they want and live out their dreams? Anybody say that? You ever told your kid that? Yeah, you better believe we tell our kids that, right? How dare you tell your kids that they can do anything they want and live out their dreams while you live a subpar average life that you don't really believe in? How dare you live something less than what you would challenge your kids to live? That's something we usually call a hypocrite. Am I right? Can you possibly be a bad mom helping thousands of people to find themselves? Now, I don't care. Like, if someone wants to call you a bad mom, I'll come punch them in the face right now if they want to call you a bad mom for that. Because that's ridiculous. There is no such thing as being a good mom or a person who chases their passion. Because I would say that any good mom would chase their passion to set an example for their kids of what it looks like. Will you sacrifice a little bit of time with your kids to show them what they have the potential of becoming? And I would be willing to bet a whole lot of money that if you do chase your dreams, you'll still find time, if you really want to spend with your kids. And what you'll probably do is just spend a little less time on things like Netflix. People are always worried that if they go all in, they'll become a bad mom and won't have time for their kids. Meanwhile, they're holding a remote control in their right hand and a beer or glass of Pepsi or wine in their left hand. I don't have anything against any of those things that I just said, but what I'm saying is you are not giving up time with your kids most of the time to work your business. You're just giving up the other things in life that don't actually matter. Like today I watched an episode on Netflix. Last night I watched like 2 or 3 episodes. And that's like the most Netflix I've watched in like months. Other than with my kids. Other than with my wife. Like sometimes we do that together as a family. But I don't waste time. I ain't got time to waste. I'm either working a business, which takes care of my family, or I spend time with my family. You're not afraid of being a bad mom. And if you are, I mean, I know you are on the surface, but what you're really afraid of is that you're going to have to sacrifice some things that you don't want to give up. Kind of like your health journey. Nobody wants to give up eating chocolate every single day. But if you want to be healthy, you can't eat Snickers every day. Now you can on, a few days a week, right? So I just want to throw that in there because I know that's another big fear that moms have. I had the fear myself as a dad. I was scared to death that I was going to be the worst dad in the world if I decided to work a full-time job and pursue a business. But guess what? For a little bit, I did become a really crappy dad. And then guess what? My wife said, "Hey, you're being a crappy dad. Quit being so busy." I said, "Okay, you're right." And I stopped and I rewrote my whole schedule. When you live life by design, you can rewrite your whole schedule anytime you want. I couldn't do that at my day job. Nobody was letting me rewrite my schedule at my day job. When you build life by design, you cannot possibly live every single day helping people and not at some point stop and go, "Oh, okay, do I need to slow down? Do I need to settle down? Okay, let's make some adjustments. And that's what I did. And now I spend way more time with my family than I ever did before I had a business, because I took the time to build a life by design, the life that's best for my family. So anyways, I know I went like 4 hours long. I apologize for going so long, Brooke. I can still hang out and do some Q&A if you guys want to. Just to throw in real quick, for those of you that don't know about my training groups, you can go to joshuacoates.com and check out the training groups that I run for Beachbody coaches. I run 3 different groups to help you get unstuck in the place you're at. And the only question I'd ask you is if you had the opportunity to spend 4 weeks getting teaching, training, and accountability from someone who trains most of the top coaches in this company, why would you not? If you see something that you're struggling with in your business and you're struggling to get over it, why would you not get help? And that's it. I mean, why not? So go to joshuacoates.com. Please find me on Facebook. Shoot me a friend request. And if you have any questions about my training groups, you can always message me there and just ask me about it. I'm more than happy to help you find the right group. But Brooke, I will hand it back to you. Whatever you want to do. I know it's like 10:30 Eastern time. If we need to go, that's fine, or I can hang out for a little bit if you want to.
I mean, I have a couple questions while I have you on the phone,
Okay.
but
Yeah, of course.
off, you're more than welcome to. I think that was awesome. Thank you so much. Like I said, he's constantly just reading what's in my mind. So my question while I have you.
Yeah, of course.
I work full time. And a lot of people on my Facebook are people that either report to me or that I'm reporting to. Now, if part of my story is to not be at work,
Yeah.
how do you share that? Do you know what I mean?
No, I totally do. And this is a tough one. But you have to understand that some parts of your story have to be left for later. But you can still tell the story of your health transformation. You can still tell the story of how you want to help people, of how you have a purpose, how you have a passion, how you found something that you're so excited about waking up. Nobody's going to judge you for not being incredibly excited and purposeful about your day job. I mean, no one expects you to be that excited about your day job. Even your boss knows you probably are content with being there and thankful for what they offer you, but they probably know that you're not the happiest person on the planet for having that job, right? So, no, you can't share the full story just yet. Just like when I still worked at my job, I didn't talk about how horrible that job was until I actually had quit. You know what I'm saying? One time I accidentally did, and I almost got fired. That sucked. But so you do have to reserve a little bit of your story, but there's still so many other parts of your story that I promise people can relate to and people will lock onto and people will want to join you because of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Does that help? I'm sorry. I don't have
I've got I've got posts for years once I finally quit, but it's like, until then, it's a little more difficult.
Yeah. So
sitting in traffic every morning.
So be that much more motivated and inspired to make it happen so you can finally tell your story. Well,
I mean, after tonight's call, I just want to sit up and message every single person on my friends list, but it's probably a little late.
You know what? This is just one of my rules. It's never too late to Facebook message someone. That's because if they're in bed and asleep, they shouldn't have their phone in their pocket anyways, right? So if I message 100 people at 11 o'clock at night, that means tomorrow I'm going to wake up with probably, several people to talk to. That's just how I look at it. But I also, like you, I had a full-time job, and then I would come home and work on calls with people, and sometimes I didn't get to do my power hour until 11 o'clock at night. So I just said, screw it, I'm going to message them anyways. So, I mean, you can go ahead and message 100 people tonight if you want.
Maybe I will.
Go ADOS crazy on people.
Yeah, no, that was a really great call. Anybody else? Take advantage. We don't get him very often.
Anybody? Come on, somebody. How about this? Next person that asks me a question gets a free spot in one of my training groups.
Whoa.
Better unmute yourself, because I know somebody wants a question. It looks like Sandy got herself unmuted first. Was that intentional, Sandy?
Yes, it was.
Okay. You just won you just won the easiest free training spot I've ever given away.
I absolutely do.
So what's your question? As I splash water on myself.
So my question is, well, I know the rules and what we're supposed to be doing, but I still find it hard to motivate myself. And it is based on fear. I know that. And what you said today has hit some chords, but I'm still kind of nervous about really going for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate my day job. It's kind of nice, but I'm finding it's a struggle to keep up with that and the Beachbody.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you combine, right now I have to work that job, so how do I combine that with the Beachbody as well without burning out?
Yes. So first of all, I'm going to give you a free spot in my Clarity and Focus group. Okay. If you would shoot me a personal message. I'm a little scatterbrained and I'll forget, but if you shoot me a PM, I'll get you all enrolled. I'll message my assistant and make sure she gets you taken care of. Okay.
Okay.
Which sounds really cool. I just hired an assistant last week, so I just want to name drop that. You proud of me, Megan? I finally hired an assistant. So, here's the thing.
Seriously was like, I have to unmute myself and be like, what?
It's like the coolest thing ever. I feel like I'm some special person, even though I'm obviously not.
You are a very special person now.
No,
you weren't before, but you are now.
I was not last week, but now I am. No, I'm just kidding. But so I promise Clarity and Focus is gonna help this a lot, but I don't want you to have to wait till May to get this answer. So I want to give you kind of a short version of this answer. Number one, daily game plan. Do you have a daily checklist?
Yeah, I don't always follow it though.
That's the first problem, Sandy. Is I guarantee your upline has provided you with some type of daily checklist to make sure you incorporate your 3 vitals every day, right?
Yeah.
If you do not use that checklist, you will do 1 or 2 things here, 1 or 2 things there, 1 or 2 things here, 1 or 2. Before you know it, it's 10:30. It actually is 10:30. That's funny. You're exhausted.
It's so true.
You feel completely overwhelmed because you don't even remember what you actually did, which means you're not really sure what you're supposed to do. And then you go to bed frustrated every single night because you have no idea what you actually accomplished. It would be similar to someone going to the gym every single morning, waking up early, making all the sacrifices of going to the gym, but then having no workout routine. They play around with the dumbbells for 20 minutes, and then they run on the treadmill for 10 minutes, and then they do a couple pull-ups, and then they go over to the stupid little ab corner that's got 20 different ways to freaking work out your abs, ridiculous. And they're making all the sacrifices of someone who loses weight and someone who makes progress without getting any of the progress. That's exactly what people do when they don't have a daily checklist. You feel tired and overwhelmed like all of the people that are actually making progress, except you're not getting any of the progress because you're not keeping track of what you're doing, which means you're probably not doing the right things. And if you don't do the right things, you're doing the wrong things, and the wrong things don't make money. So you're just as tired and exhausted as everyone else, except they're getting paychecks and you're not. They're rank advancing and you're not. And I personally don't mind being tired and exhausted if I make a lot of money. Right? I mean, it's not so bad. It's okay, I can handle that, right?
As long as I can have time to enjoy my money.
But that's the thing is once you start making money, you can, take Saturday and go hang out at the zoo. You can take Sunday and take your family to the movies. You know what I'm saying? But being tired itself is really not that bad if you get something in return. When it sucks is when you're tired for what feels like nothing. Right?
True.
That sucks bad. So number one, you've got to stick to that daily checklist that your upline coach gave you. Daily checklists are golden, absolutely golden. Even if it's not the greatest checklist in the world, it will at least help you make sure you do the right things. And you go to bed at night with a sense of achievement, knowing you did the stuff that needed to get done. If nothing ever gets checked off, in your brain, it's still floating around, which means you're still thinking about it in the middle of cooking. You're thinking about it, trying to play with your kids, but you're thinking about it, trying to watch your favorite TV show, but you're thinking about it. And it's so overwhelming and exhausting. I spent my whole first year trying to build my business like that. And guess what? I signed 2 clients in my first year. My second year, guess what I did? I made up a daily checklist. 9 months later, I quit my day job. Now, I'm not saying you'll quit your job in 9 months if you have a daily checklist, but I just want you to see the end. I went from signing 2 clients in an entire year. That's horrible. That's like selling 2 challenge packs in 12 months. I bet every single person on this call has sold more than 2 challenge packs in the last 12 months if you've been a coach that long. That was my first year. And now I do this full time, and now I hired an assistant because I can't even keep up with all the work that's coming in. And I'm making enough money to hire people to do my work for me so that I can work less but still help more people and still make more money. Why? Because I made sure I did the right things every day. You don't have to do a lot of things every day. You really don't. You just have to do the right things. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Yeah, it does.
If you do that, you'll start getting results. And when you start getting results, I promise you'll be a lot more motivated. But you'll also be a lot less tired and overwhelmed and exhausted because you'll have this simple list of what you're doing. And then you check it all off, and then you just go spend time with your family. And you're no longer thinking about what needs to get done because it's all done.
It's true about the thinking about what needs to get done. I do that all day long.
No, I know. Because I did the same thing my whole first year of business. And to be honest, I kind of got back into that rut as my business got so busy. I kind of got back into that rut, and I just recently had to step back and I told my wife the other day, I was like, man, I need to get back to what I teach in clarity and focus, because now I need a new game plan for the new season that I'm in to make sure I'm doing the right things and not wasting time now. So, we're always learning, we're always growing, we're always adapting. It's just life, right?
Yep.
So I hope that helps you.
Yes, thank you.
Make sure and shoot me a message though, so I can get you that free spot, okay?
Will do.
Anybody else? I hear a noise. Someone unmuted themselves. Or was that just you, Brooke?
Yeah, I'm unmuted, but
Okay.
I can't think of anything else. I want to know about your leadership training too. You have that one of those, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess that's on your website.
Yeah. Did you have a question about it?
No, I just want to get in it. Is it the same
you
style
want-
as the recruiting one I'm doing?
It's actually a little bit more laid back.
Mm-hmm.
Because the assignments are like team assignments.
Okay.
So it's not like just, hey, do a post. You know what I'm saying? It's like, for instance, like week 2, you have to do some team surveys and stuff to find out what your team's struggling with, what they're going through. So it's like the homework is more time consuming. So I only give one homework project per week so that you have all week to kind of work on that project, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But it's the same style in the sense that it's still one video every Monday. And it's a 4-week training. But homework is just bigger projects that you have more time to accomplish.
Cool.
But it is really cool. I really, really, really like that training a lot. I mean, of course, I made it. I don't have any trainings I made that I don't like, or I would just stop selling them, of course. But I really, really like that one a lot because, leadership is one of my huge passions, and it is tough. How do I deal with having all of these coaches and trying to figure out what to spend my time on and who to spend my time with and how to balance all that, especially when you have a full-time job. So what I try to do in the art of leading is set it up into some very specific but simple systems to make sure you're giving your time to your coaches in the right way that doesn't steal all of your time and all of your energy, so you still have time to work your business. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you should check it out. It's fun, and I would love to spend another 4 weeks with you.
Of course.
Are we good?
Anybody else? Thank you so much, Josh. That was really, really, really great.
You're welcome. You're more than welcome. Thanks for opening up your team to me. I appreciate it so much.
Of course.
Thanks, Josh.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I think here in like next week. Yeah, next Monday night I'm speaking for Lauren, so I don't know if you guys get on her team calls or whatever.
She does them at 11:30 though, right, in the day?
No, we're doing a night one.
Are you? Oh, then yeah.
We're doing it at 8:00 Eastern time.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing a special evening one so that like everyone can be on there. So if you guys want to join us, I'll be hanging out again next Monday night.
Yeah, we might do that then. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Thank you, Brooke. Night, guys.
Bye.